Let the record show that the special Riverview City Council meeting was called to order on March 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Will the clerk please take roll?
Councilman Ganaga? Oh, sorry. We know she's not there. Councilman O'Neill?
Here.
Councilman Prey?
Here.
Councilman Robin?
Here.
Pro Tem Webb? No. And Councilman Workman?
Here.
And Mayor Swift.
Here. Let the record show that Councilman Webb and Councilwoman Ganaga are excused. Now is the time for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the mayor and council, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes. There is no sharing of time and no rebuttals.
I got the clock on.
All right.
Sally, you here?
Should be okay. Things in that Zoom room.
Take your time.
Sally Sutherland, 14395 Hamilton Street. I just had one quick question, and it had to do with the news tonight about the dump. And I don't know, was it just coincidence that they happened to use the Riverview dump for their news media, or does that have any play on our dump as we have right now, or our landfill?
Well, what was the question?
Okay. As you know, in the news tonight, it showed about the landfill and how Gretchen Whitmer is trying to increase the amount of money, I guess, that is that they get for using it. Now, does that have any bearing on our land dump, or was it just coincidence that they happened to use the Riverview land dump, the Riverview landfill tonight?
I don't know if it's coincidence. I did get a call from a reporter earlier this afternoon, and I did return her call like about 4:30. The reason she said they chose Riverview is I guess when they've had stories about this before, they were at other landfills, they'd be at the same one. So I think what they're talking about, and I didn't see the report, is that Governor Whitmer is considering raising the I keep calling them tipping fees, but
Yes.
surcharges
Yes.
from 37 cents to $5. So, and with the intent of dissuading Canadian trash from coming into the landfills. So she actually picked the wrong landfill for that because we have no contracts with any Canadian company. We do not accept Canadian trash. That's not to say we don't receive some construction material occasionally from a Michigan carrier who may bring some in, but we have not accepted Canadian trash at our landfill, I think, since 2019, as far as contracts go. So, but it will affect every landfill. If that rate goes up, everybody's rates go up measurably.
So would we get more income for that for this?
Oh, well, no, we'll certainly bring in more income, but it's going to go right back to the state. And since you brought it up, is how that will work is, say, we'll just go right for the jugular, say they take $5 a ton. At some point in time, they will give back part of that to the communities who are negatively financially impacted by that. Well, my opinion is if they just never started it, we wouldn't be negatively financially impacted. So I think the thought is they collect all this extra money and then they promote recycling and all these other very expensive things to do. But I think it's just coincidence that they chose our landfill, not specifically for the Canadian trash that they think we collect.
Okay, so it really has no impact on us closing the landfill on time, the way, in our
No.
timeframes or anything?
No.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure.
I'm not going to talk.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
Okay.
All right, with that, 4-1, adopt resolution of intent to undertake special assessment and authorize and direct city manager to prepare cost estimates for police protection, public safety special assessment for the Riverview Police Department. I don't normally do this, but I will read the background so the public will know what we're talking about and doing. Under the Police and Fire Protection Act 33 of 1951, the city, as a qualified city, is permitted to raise revenue for police protection, public safety, for the purchasing of police motor vehicles, apparatus, and equipment to defray the costs of maintenance and operations, including personnel, of the police department through certain creation of a special assessment district that is applicable citywide. Raising revenue for police protection, public safety by statute allows additional revenue to be brought into the general fund for the city's police department. Pursuant to the city's charter and ordinances, council must set forth its intent to undertake a special assessment and authorize and direct the city manager to prepare costs for this police protection, public safety special assessment for the police department. And that's what this resolution will do. But I do want to remind people how we got here. Remember back in 2023 with the, and then we were addressing at that time, the potential closure of the landfill. We had our city manager looking at the budget, and at first we were just looking to what it would cost us, the taxpayers, if we were just to close the landfill and don't accept any more trash and just go about our business. That was looking like an 8 to 10 mil tax increase, which we know nobody could actually could tolerate. So what we did was we decided not to go, and we were going like 4 mils for 10 years. We decided not to do that and directed the city manager and his staff to go through the budget with a fine-tooth comb and see where we can make cuts, make better decisions, and just like squeeze every penny out of every dollar. So, and they've done that over the last couple of years. But we do come up short around 2 mils for the public safety, and I think our city manager and maybe our finance director may get into it a little bit later on actually what the cost, how much of percent of a cost our police and fire protection actually is. So they're addressing those issues. And just so you know, this isn't an additional 2 mils that we would be looking for. Tonight's action is just to direct them to see what the cost is. But this would actually be basically a renewal of the 2 mils already on the books. It's not a tax increase, it's just a renewal of the 2 mils. And if the landfill wasn't closing, we wouldn't even be talking about this. We don't have the landfill to count on anymore. Same thing with for years, we've absorbed the cost of double-digit increases from the Great Lakes Water Authority, then it was Detroit Water, where there's no way we could pass a 10 or 12, 15% increase in water rates to our residents. So we ate those increases. Now, in the past few years, I think we've passed whatever we got from the Great Lakes Water Authority, we passed it on. So we don't have the landfill to count on for those increases. And I did see some chatter about, well, we got the royalties coming in, and better expected royalties from the DTE gas plant. Those are coming in, like I said, more than expected, but the landfill has to be self-sufficient now. So all those royalties and whatever the landfill makes in profit stays at the landfill, because we have to fund, we have a $60 million post-closure cost that has to be funded from somewhere. So I think for now, like I said, Jeff and Hannah have figured out a way to make that happen. So we just have to get used to, if we get costs from outside entities, there's no way that we can eat those costs anymore. We don't have the landfill to count on. So this is, and we've said this before, this is what Riverview looks like without a landfill. And so we're doing our best. I think they've done a great job of keeping costs down to something reasonable. So that's kind of that's how we got to this point. So at this point, Jeff, do you want to give a little bit of background of what we're doing?
Well, again, thank you, Your Honor. This is to offset and basically help fund the police department. It is a large expense, and I'll let Ann speak to the percentages, but as you stated earlier, we don't get an amount transferred from the landfill to the general fund, so this is to save off not replacing police apparatus, cars, personnel. We have a bunch of things that we went without for a couple of years, and we've got to catch up now, and we've got to still get the tools and equipment for our police force, so. And you want to mention the percentage of police of the general fund?
Yeah, as we're working on the budget right now, currently, the general fund operating mills is about 14.627 mills, and generates a little over $6 million, $6.2 million. Right now, the police budget going into this current budget that we're working on is $5.3 million. So right now, the police department is taking up 86% of all taxes generated by the community. Also, just to make the matters that obviously we know police and fire are first responders, we do have an additional fire mill of 1.47, which brings in about $626,000. The current fire department budget that's being presented is $4.6 million. So the total public safety cost is $7.8 million, which is currently, if we don't pass this millage, 125% of every tax brought into this community for operations. The additional mill brings, the additional 2 mills, why so desperately needed, is $852,000. Like I said, once we do the budget, this will be brought out more in light. So with the 3 mills, the operation, the police millage, and the fire mill, that's about $7.7 million of every tax dollar that comes in for the operations of this community. The police and fire budget take up $7.8 million. So in reality, even with this 2 mill, the police and fire are still absorbing $107,000. So the rest of this community operates on state shared revenue, fees, user charges, charges to other, the municipalities so that we can operate. Otherwise, we don't, like I said, the general operations, like I said, completing every other department does not get one tax dollar. It's all raised through other means. And this is pretty common in most communities, but that is why this millage is so desperately needed by the community.
Thank you. And I think that points out how important and how highly we think of our police and fire departments. Riverview is known as a really safe community. And unfortunately, it comes with a cost.
Sure.
But our residents have always supported our police and fire because they do an outstanding job. And but the reality is, it's a major portion of our budget. There's not much, I want to call it fluff and stuff in our budget. So that's basically the motive and the reason we're doing this. Unless there's any other comment, I would look for a motion.
Support. There you go.
Who made it?
I made it, she supported it.
Okay. Motion,
Support.
all right. Motion by Councilman Price, supported by Councilwoman O'Neill. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Workman.
Yes.
Councilman Robbins.
Yes.
Councilman Prey.
Yeah.
Councilman O'Neill.
Yes.
Mayor Swift.
Yes. Motion passes. With that, I would look for a motion to adjourn from Councilman Workman.
So move, Your Honor.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Prey. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Robbins.
Yes.
Councilman Prey.
Yes.
Councilman O'Neill. Councilman Workman.
Yes.
Mayor Swift.
Yes. Let the record show that we adjourned at 7:14. Thank you, everybody.